Is this one working? Yeah? God, you're tall, Alan. Yes. Oh, my goodness. See, I practiced on the other one. I don't know how to... Am I doing this right? Someone help me. Let the tall guy help. Yeah, let the tall guy help.
This is the right. Okay. Well, I was told to. Okay.
Oh, this is just... Oh. Oh, hi. Oh, hi, Isabel. Hi. I love that it's fireside and it's through the fire. What the hell? There's no fire left. What the hell? Come on. Come on, Miles. What you doing, Miles? Oh, boy. Can you imagine New York? I gotta take this microphone off because New York is, stand free, right? Can you imagine? Oh, my goodness. This is what happens when you're a new mother. Just technical problems. Can you imagine New York City in the early aughts? That's the early 2000s for those not in the know. I looked it up on the internet. How do you call the 00s? It's the aughts. Did you guys know that? Now you're schooled, and some of you already knew. So, early 2000s, Hell's Kitchen, and I am walking to my place at 50th and 10th, and I'm walking along the avenue. And, when you walk in New York, you got to walk like you got a little fire in your step, right? A little jazz, right? Everyone snaps in New York, haven't you seen West Side Story? Look, in LA, people don't snap, but New York? So I'm doing that. I see my favorite deli. Oh, my favorite deli. And when you're in New York, you go, oh. You guys don't know New York, do you? Because they go, oh. Anyway, so New York, favorite deli, 48th and 10th. And it's Hell's Kitchen. This is Hell's Kitchen pre-gentrification, well, mid-gentrification, because the pimps, the prostitutes, the purveyors of pot and other substances have gone, but we don't have the fancy bars and bistros yet. So it's exactly the kind of neighborhood you want to live in. Safe enough to live in, but still cool because the she, annoying rich people haven't moved in yet. Sorry, guys. This is Santa Monica. There's probably some rich people here. But maybe not. Maybe not. And maybe I will become rich, and then I will feel bad about saying this. So anyway, God, back to the deli. So I've always wanted to get the perfect apple, the perfect little apple in the big apple, right? And I think of that because I like to think about words and stuff. I'm like, I'm going to get the perfect little apple in the perfect big apple. The thing is with these delis, it's kind of a bait and switch thing, right? They look, has anyone been to a New York deli where they have fruit out? Yep. So they all look perfect. They're waxed and they're red, but then you bite into it and there's not an actual worm, but it tastes like worms. It's really bad and mealy. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get the perfect looking apple that also tastes perfect. And I'm bending, I'm looking, and suddenly, what? Hey, what? What did you just do? Someone pinched my derriere. No, I'm a New York chick. I got fire in my step. I'm not taking this. So I say to him, don't do that. And he looks at me and he goes, puta, 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 puta. It's like his own mantra, right? I'm like this. He's like, puta, puta. And then a bunch of other invectives. I don't understand all of them, but I'm pretty sure they're sexual in nature and not very nice. As my mother would say, it's not very nice. Wasn't very nice. And I say to him, don't talk to me like that, because that's what you do in New York. You meet fire with fire. Don't talk to me like that. We all know, nowadays in this time of harassment and everything, you got to do something, right? Well, this was the early aughts. I was pre Rose McGowan. I was the pre-Rose. I say, no, you can't do that to me. And he goes, puta. And he puts his hands in his pockets, and he pulls out 2 box cutters. Now, when 9/11 happened, I'm like, box cutters? But then I looked them up, and they're knives. I don't know why they had to call them box covers. They're knives. And he pulls them out, and he flips them both open. Two. He had two, one in each pocket. And he continues to swear at me. And I know in this moment, I know he's either going to rape me or cut me or I don't know, something really bad, right? Something really bad. And it's one of those nights, again, I don't know why, but nobody's around. I always like that when things like this happen. And I don't feel panicked. It's just like suddenly all I see are his eyes and the box cutters. And the world around me gets really quiet. Really quiet. Fast forward, I'll get back to that. 5-6 years later, I'm in LA. I get cast in this fictional / non-fictional mockumentary, I don't know what, reality show. And basically, this guy named Corky Quackenbush, that's his real name. Corky Quackenbush is a famous animator, but this is going to be a live thing with real people. And he's also an Aikido master. Is anyone here familiar with Aikido? Oh, okay. So all I know about Aikido is from Corky Quackenbush, so you can correct me if I'm off, but you guys know about martial arts where you roll with the punches, right? The whole idea of rolling with the punches. You take the energy of the person and you go, you roll with it, and it's super cool, like karate and taekwondo. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it sounds good. So in Aikido is a little bit different. See, in Aikido, you take the energy, right? You roll with it, and then you offer it like love. And it sounds like I'm mocking it, and I am a little bit, but that's what you do. So the idea is, and this is kind of interesting philosophically to me anyway, and you tell me if you agree, the people who are hostile, like Mike's Murphy, right? That guy, the Irish band guy. These guys are looking for connection, right? And the only way, because they had an effed up childhood, the only way they can do it is through hostility. So they come at people with hostility. Now, if you meet them with hostility, somebody gets hurt, which isn't good for the world. If you avoid them, then they're going to go after someone else, right? And somebody's going to get hurt. So the third option is you connect with them. You take their hostility, you roll with it, and instead of offering hostility back, you offer love. This is the movement. You offer love. Anyway, Corky Quackenbush is telling me this in our first meeting, and I just, come on. This is so la-la, right? I'm New York. Like, this is so la-la. This is like The Secret where you're supposed to manifest everything, but then what about, like, women in the Congo who get clitorectomies? Do they manifest a clitorectomy? This la-la stuff is for the 1%ers, right? I don't say that to Corky because he's my director. I just look at him like that. And because he's an Aikido master, he looks at me like this. I go home, and I can't sleep. Why? Because I'm thinking about 48th and 10th at the deli. 48th and 10th at the deli. Let's bring us back to that moment where all I see is his eyes and those box cutters. And I look at him directly in his eyes, and they're really brown. And I say, you really don't want to do this. You really don't. And I felt like he really didn't. You really don't want to do this. You can just put those knives away and run. And he looks back at me, wide-eyed, and he says, puta, puta, puta. And then he puts the box cutters back in his pockets, and he runs away. I'm getting chills just thinking about it, because I used to say fuck, and now I have a 9-month-old, and I'm trying not to swear. How the fuck did I do that? How did I get there? Because if I could bottle it or wrap it up in a gift, I would give it to everybody, right? Because did you guys know that there's already been 15 classroom shootings this year in 2018? Last year, there was an average of 1 per day of mass shooting. and one per month where 4 people or more got killed. This is our United States, and there's violence everywhere. It's not just the United States and the gun. It's everywhere, right? And how do we teach our boys? Because let's be honest, it's mostly the boys. And I've been thinking about it. I have a 9-month-old boy. But who's raising the boys? Right? Men and women. So what the F do we do? How do we do this when they're kids? Do we just, maybe it's just this movement. Maybe we just go around to everybody who looks upset and hostile, and we just go, I don't know. Tell me, because after I want to know. I see the apple. It's red. Is it going to taste like worms? Pick it up. I'm going to go into the deli. I say, I was just almost raped or mugged out there. And they just look at me. I don't give a shit. It's New York. Happens every day. I buy that apple, and I walk the 2 blocks to my house. Oh, wait a minute. I'm breastfeeding, so I got really hungry so I ruined my prop. But there's actually milk coming out right now. But anyway. It is really good. It's not a New York apple, but wow. That's how it tasted. Yeah, I got the fire in my step. But I'm not going to meet fire with fire anymore. I love you. I love you. Thank you.